Post-Saros depression is real, especially in an age where there aren't enough bullet hell shooters, third person, first person, and otherwise to tide one over. When Luna Abyss came along with the seemingly simple premise of Moon's haunted and its promised gameplay, it felt too good to be true. But let's be real, expecting production and gameplay quality on the level of Saros, much less Returnal, is unrealistic and unfair. Besides, Luna Abyss offers enough compelling elements even if it doesn't quite match the very best in either genre. So to start with, no, the actual moon isn't haunted. Instead, there's a mimic, known as Luna, that serves as a penitentiary for individuals like Fawkes, ostracized by her red eyes. She's sentenced to serve thousands of days as a scout, plunging into the mysterious and once highly populated megastructure that has since fallen to the Scourge. Oh, and a giant snake-like head named Alien serves as her prison guard, blankly looking around the cell when not electrocuting her for insubordination. The rot emanating from the Scourge is only the tip of the mythical abyss, and things only take a weirder turn when meeting the mysterious Urian. Transformed into something altogether different, Fawkes is then tasked with assassinating Urian while slowly piecing together the collective's fragmented past and the true purpose of her increasingly maddening expeditions. Between its jargon, average production values, and lack of compelling characters in the first hour or so, Luna Abyss has a hard time drawing you in. It doesn't help that the actual gameplay feels slow-paced and one-note with a gun that overheats far too quickly, some unimaginative fodder and impromptu rot cleaning. The maws and gaps in the megastructure lend to some intriguing platforming and exploration, yet for the most part, it feels like you're barreling down corridors to get to the next uninspired puzzle and combat arena to progress. First impressions matter, first impressions can also be extremely deceptive, and boy, does Luna Abyss ascend beyond its first impression. The hunt for Urian requires heading to the abandoned city of Greymont, conveniently locked behind two seals. Unlocking those requires venturing to two reactors, all while the being in question bestows new skills to help you out. Why won't he tell you what's going on over the radio? Seeing is believing, but unironically, especially when witnessing the various ecosystems that govern the megastructure. A giant head works the lift, and you're encouraged not to listen to her poetry. Two spider-like wardens roam the environment, offering good tidings to Fawkes. Giant beings with powerful destructive capabilities have their own commune, seemingly in penance for failing to stop the corruption, or the darkness, or whatever centuries of disinformation have wrought on their lives. To the credit of the writing and the voice acting, they feel like actual characters, but only a select few occasionally elicit sympathy, mostly depending on their screen time. Fawkes is also surprisingly amicable as someone trying to come to terms with this nightmare sentence and empathizing with the other inmates, even if she can't fully understand their circumstances, and not for a lack of trying. Dialogue choices feel especially meaningless in this context. The story is the story and will play out regardless, but the thought of portraying a Fawkes who can crack the odd joke here and there, despite decades of death-defying penal labor to serve, is endearing at times. Of course, there's more to the plot, with some intriguing twists along the way. All of that is to say that it doesn't initially grab. Luna Abyss will reward your patience beyond the seemingly cliched grimdark setting. It may not win Best Narrative by any stretch, but it's still surprisingly better than you would expect. The same goes for the gunplay, especially after unlocking the shotgun and dash. The former is useful for breaking shields, and while the latter doesn't grant invincibility frames, it's useful when repositioning against tougher enemies. Yes, the variety of threats becomes more diverse, along with their tactics, be it in a spiraling beam or in an expanding energy ring. Dashing can also be useful when dealing with hit scan beams, the telltale flash indicating the correct timing. Fawkes also gains the ability to execute foes on low health to recover her own, though this is a less visceral glory kill and more like a Thanos snap, but more underwhelming, of course, and without any actual snapping. It does the job though, and if you're full on health, another option opens up later for dealing with crowds. That said, the movement can feel floaty at first, and the gunplay can get repetitive. Despite the variety of enemies improving throughout your journey, you'll still face the same randomly floating blobs and detonate when close, the same laser-shooting hedrons, and the same fodder. Perhaps my biggest annoyance is with these certain shielded foes who can become completely invulnerable during periods. Muscle memory dictates swapping to a specific weapon and letting rip, only to deal no damage before the corresponding colored shield appears. By then, you've only got another shot until cooldown, so better hope this one lands. Which should be easy enough thanks to the addition of a locked-on target mode. I was initially apprehensive about this since it trivializes the initial encounters, but it helps to constantly adjust movement while dealing consistent damage, especially given the lack of immunity while dashing. In the late game sections, it fuels a ballet of flying around and quickly decimating targets while swapping to the next weapon in midair. But while each weapon has its unique functions, they're woefully low in number. The lack of alternate firing modes or upgrades is also a bummer, even though I can see it increasing encounter complexity beyond what the developer may be capable of. On the bright side, at least the traversal remains fresh, especially when the environments open up to accommodate all your different abilities. For all the air dashing, double jumping, and other options that seamlessly chain together, and which I won't spoil, you have the power of possession. Fawkes can enter the bodies of different beings, and though it may seem gimmicky at first, it lends to several unique sequences, including possessing a warden that can unleash devastating firepower, perfect for clearing out tons of rot. It's a shame then that this particular option isn't available more often, but others often make up for it, especially when seamlessly interlinked with the rest of your traversal abilities. All that exploration eventually culminates in a boss, and each frames your most recently acquired ability as a linchpin for the encounter, mostly to survive hazardous projectiles or terrain. Their bullet patterns weren't the most differentiating at times, but they still offer a decent enough challenge, especially on the highest difficulty. All of this is backed by an aesthetic equal parts satisfyingly washed out, grungy, and tinged with scarlet. Alas, Luna Abyss can sometimes feel low budget, whether it's in the cutscenes, the lackluster facial animations, or select character portraits. Even the character models aren't safe from this, especially Fawkes, whether in her regular form or when she inhabits the Crimson Veneer. And yet, it's hard to deny some truly breathtaking sights. Whether it's finally laying eyes on Greymont from afar before taking in the remnants of panicked evacuation head-on, or a ladder area with its vertigo-induced heights. Luna Abyss isn't what I expected, and even if the first hour didn't exactly grab me, the slow, eventual descent into the Mimic Moon's ruins, mirroring Fawkes' own journey as she attempts to make sense of the world, proved compelling enough. There are moments where it feels like something beyond the sum of its disparate parts, even as the same shortcomings rear their mechanical heads more often than not. Again, it won't reign over the very best that either genre, first-person shooter and bullet hell, have to offer, but it's still a fun avant-garde mesh of the two, backed by some good traversal and an intriguing story. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.